It was pretty cool.
Yep, definitely. That was Joseph Cervone on the California Winter Race. Definitely a great show. No caution. We were done in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
it was caution filled. It took us 3 hours. I don't know. I watched enough Top Gear. I'm covering all my bases.
I hope not.
Recording this a week before.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm gonna throw this up as like a blooper or something.
Would be like, hey Joseph,
You're a
welcome
blooper.
to the show. How you doing today, Joseph?
I'm doing alright. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Well, other than trying to burn my house down, I'm doing pretty good.
Why would you do Why would you do a thing like that?
He looked in the mirror and he got scared.
I'm not trying to, it's just smoke alarms going off. That's all.
We'll insert shotgun number 3.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Frickin'. Okay, I'm without a finger now. I just busted it off.
What?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome tonight to CORTnation 91.3. I'm your host, William Roberts. Joined tonight, I'm with Mike Husby, Robert Hill, and I don't know, I think we got a hobo in the studio. Who's this, guys?
I think he said his name is Lyle. I'm not 100% sure. Hobo, what's your name?
So let me get this straight. Just because I can't race here anymore, I've now become a hobo? Guys, it's only been a couple weeks.
You know how these famous athletes are. They run through their fortunes like no one's business after they retire. No.
Good point. I heard Kyle might have taken up meth with Jeremy Mayfield.
Oh no.
Now, joking aside, tonight our special guest, Kyle Young, former CORT Truck Series champion. Actually, you won the first 2 championships, correct?
I did. I won the first 2 championships in the series history and made history by doing that. I was CORT's first back-to-back champion and the first champion in CORT history to take a provisional in the final race.
Make it so easy you don't even have to show off, huh?
I guess so.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and jump into what we got on tap tonight. Unfortunately, we're not doing our truck review or our cup review like we had said we would. We'll get that into a later episode. We'll make sure that it's publicized. What we have on tap tonight, since due to editing difficulties, we weren't able to record last night. We are talking about California, 1 week ago in the Winter Series. We're going to be talking about Iowa, which was tonight, actually, last night when this finally goes up. And we're going to be previewing next week's race at Atlanta. So all for the Winter Series. We've also got some news and notes to take care of, and we're going to have our first segment, Green, White, Checkered with Husby and Hill. That'll be later on towards the end of the episode. Also, we've got a special interview with Joseph Cervone. This was recorded in Newmarket, Ontario at Popper's Pizza. And that'll also be later on tonight. Boys, ready?
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's go.
Alright. California Speedway, or Auto Club Speedway, I'm sorry. Top 10 from that race. Cody McCorkle won the race. Mike Husby came in a close second there, Husby. Brian Sullivan, 3rd. David Damboy's 4th. Brett Black, 5th. Johnny Eckert, 6th. Brent Sweet, 7th. Nick Stoller, 8th. James Gutta, Series Director, 9th. And Jake Finch in 10th. Alright, boys. Take it away.
So yeah, the race started with 20 cars, and 12 of them finished on the lead lap. It was actually a pretty awesome race. There was a lot of three groove racing. Like, there was guys all over the track going through the corners, and they definitely used it all up, that's for sure.
It was a lot of fun. I know myself, I was able to race 3 wide with Husby and Will for a lap or two there before getting taken out by a car that didn't use his brakes after coming up from the grass. I'm not going to name names because I have no idea who it was. But yeah, it was definitely a fun race. I like that track.
Yeah, I was up at the spotter stand for Mike Husby that night, and just watching the racing action, it was a lot of fun, and that's something very, very typical that I've been noticing a lot lately since Auto Club has been introduced into the service. Very wide racetrack, and with the car used in the CORT Winter Series, it still does have some of those 2009 Nationwide Series characteristics in it, even though iRacing has changed it to become a K&N car for the official D series. So even though they did that, it still has some characteristics of some big oval racing, and it definitely showed last week. Lots of passing, lots of great racing. The field was all right bunched up together, and it made it very exciting.
Yeah, I remember Jim talking all through the first run there about everyone just seeing everyone fanning out in front of him going into one. I can't say I really saw it much myself, but it must have been a spectacular sight.
Yeah, it was insane. Like everybody was using different lines going through the corners, and it really put on a good race.
Definitely.
And it was really awesome. Usually aren't anywhere near the front, being able to run with the top guys.
Definitely, and the draft also seemed to play a huge role last week. That's something that a lot of these tracks that we're running, you might not see so much.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say that these particular Nationwide 09 cars kind of remind me of like the stock car version of the Star Mazda.
Oh, definitely. Long straights, and you can definitely just suck up to people.
Yeah, not only that, but exactly like the Star Mazda, it's got a rev limiter, so it kind of limits how far you can go before you hit the chip.
Certainly, we're about 2,000 RPMs under the Cup cars, I believe, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it only tops out at like 8,000 RPMs.
That's what I understood it to be, yeah.
But yeah, so it appears that Will, you actually got the pole in that race.
That's correct. I don't know what I was doing, but I was doing something good.
It seems like you really had that place figured out, and then I think you were caught up in a wreck later on, which kind of took you out of that. But you were definitely one of the favorites going into it.
Oh, definitely, but the issue was you can run very well one lap by yourself, but the problem is that when you get everyone bunched together, you can't pull away. Because cars don't have the power, and you can just suck right back up on the straights. That was a trend we definitely saw a lot of on last Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you're right tucked up with people, it's easy to stay with them, but when you lose them, it's almost impossible to get back to them. So it makes it such a crucial element into the racing, that draft, and trying to stay with people. If you lost connection with somebody and you didn't have any way to get back to them, you might as well write yourself off as done. I mean, there's no way. You'd have to rely on a caution or something to happen. It's so hard with these cars, and with how important the draft was last week to run down people by yourself.
Definitely. Some other keynotes from last Wednesday. Cody McCorkle had the most laps. That run to the finish, though. Actually, I should take that back. Let's jump back. About halfway through, there was a controversial restart. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, I think I don't remember how far back I was in the race, but I was about, I don't remember, I think I was like 4th or 6th or something. And Matt Harrington, who had been leading the race for quite a bit, looked like he jumped the restart. Actually, I was pretty far back at this time, but somebody was mentioning it on is it admin channel or something like that. But anyways, the rule is that you have to go on green, and it appeared that Harrington was trying to time it and started going before the green flag. So the admins had to warn him, and from that point on, he didn't do it again. But yeah, it's just one thing that some guys need to start figuring out is we do go on green. So
Definitely. Not long after that, though, the big one, which that's not something you usually see on these tracks that are like 2 miles, mile and a half, even shorter. Of the 20 cars that started, I think there were still about 16 running at the time. 9 cars taken out on lap 36 of 50.
Yeah, it definitely affected the finish. I'm sure. I only saw it after it happened because I think I had already been hit by then, so I was really slow. But it was definitely a big one. Took up the whole track, so sucks.
Yeah, certainly, and it was right off 4, and there was really nowhere for anyone to go.
yeah, from my view, actually, it was pretty. I don't know how to describe it. It was one of the weirdest, most amazing things that I think I've ever seen from my view, but it was like everybody decided to, well, not decided, but everybody that did wreck ended up washing up the track, and then one other car decided to come down the track, so there was a giant gap for me to go through, and it was literally like the seas parted ways for me. It was pretty, one of the most crazy avoidances I've ever done for a wreck.
Yeah, I remember trying to call you through that wreck. I had initially told you to go low because I saw everybody going up, but because of coming out of turn 4, everybody's washing out towards the wall. So the distance between where everybody normally runs on the wall was so much shorter. A lot of the guys, when they went up and hit the wall, they started coming back down the track. And fortunately for you, you got that lucky and able to sneak right back through. But I feel like that's what made it such a big accident was the fact that coming off for turn 4, everybody sweeps up right to that very, very outer part of the wall. And when you make a mistake like that and you're going at that speed, very little time between contact and the wall, and just the impacts were ricocheting people back across the track, and it allowed so many cars to get involved in it, which it definitely changed the finish of the race because so many heavy hitters were taken out in that accident.
Definitely, but regardless of that, that led to an amazing run to the finish there between, I believe it was Husby, Sullivan, and McCorkle. I think Dave was also part of that.
Yeah, it got really intense at the end, and Cody actually had been leading the most laps during that entire race, so he was up front for most of the race, and then he was the leader on the last lap. I had a huge run coming on Sullivan going into turn 1, and we managed to get by him by the exit of turn 2, and I gave Cody all I had going into turn 3. I even got right up alongside of him, and he just had a lot better run coming off of 4, and I just couldn't get him by the time we got to the line, so it was really awesome to see Cody win the race.
Alright, certainly, guys, and some great insight there from Husby and Kyle Young. And that'll actually wrap up our California review. Be sure to come back after the break. We'll be discussing tonight's race at Iowa. Very, very interesting race, I would have to say. But, yeah, so we'll be back right after this short commercial break.
Set yourself free. Free Radio, today's best music mix.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CORTnation 91.3. So we discussed California race, the California Winter Series race, the 100-mile race there. And now we're going to dip into the 100-lapper at Iowa. Now, let's run down the top 10 right quick. Sean Sadler was your winner. Mike Husby finished second. Brent Sweet was third. Britt Black, one of a few guys to run out of gas, was fourth. Julian Odor, fifth. Cody McCorkle, sixth. Nate Bowers in seventh. James Geddes in eighth. Steve Lavender in ninth. And Joseph Cervone, another one to run out of gas, in 10th. Boys, take it away.
Tonight was probably one of the worst cars I've ever driven. The setup was just really tight. It was pushing. It was. I'm surprised we didn't have more caution. We did. It was really. It was an okay race. Everyone seemed to race everyone with respect and raced all right. Well, most people raced each other with respect. We'll talk more about that later. It was an okay race. I'm not gonna say it was great. I'm not gonna say it was terrible. It was just okay.
From my view, it was a pretty good race. Once again, our team, Husby Motorsports, was the victors once again, and we finished 1-2 once again with Sean being the winner this week. But
hold on. I thought your name was Mike, not Victor.
Victor is in Victor go the spoils and victory. I don't know. Anyways, but
He's a little slow. It's okay.
But yeah, like Sean actually ran a really good race. He was not fastest, but he was one of the faster cars in practice. I think he said he was fifth in practice, and then managed to qualify third in the race, third for the race. Sorry, and then had a solid run all race, and ended up coming out the winner. And I really need to figure out my pedal problems because dragging the brake almost all the way around the track is really starting to get on my nerves. I think I probably could have had something for Sean tonight, but because I was losing about 3 to 5 miles an hour down the straightaways and in the corners, it was really affecting my speed coming off the corners, especially with how boggy these cars can be when you can't keep your speed up. So we're going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully get a new wheel by then. And I can't really complain about finishing second, but we're really starting the season off on a high note over at Husby Motorsports, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Talking about the cautions, that was kind of surprising. Short track racing, there were only 2 cautions. One on lap 40, I believe, and one on lap 65. Or 66, or something like that.
Yeah, we actually started the race off with a good 40-lap run, and it was actually surprising because there were a couple of guys that I was hearing that were thinking that we possibly could have had a caution before then, and it just didn't end up happening.
Well, there was 1 or 2 incidents before that yellow, but everyone just seemed to be able to collect it before a caution came out, which kind of sucked for us guys running in the back, but it was good. It was okay.
Yeah, definitely. There were certainly a few incidents. I think there was a spin by, I'm forgetting who, on going into turn 3, probably by lap 20, but he was able to collect it before the field got back around. I think there were maybe 2 more spins too, same nature.
Yeah.
I think Iowa, along with like California and a couple other places, I think especially New Hampshire are notorious for not throwing cautions because there is such a big like apron area for those tracks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely, though, one thing you have to look back about the Iowa race that you don't see in very many CORT races, it was a fuel mileage race. Start to finish, it was a fuel mileage race. So you could go about 50 laps on a tank, I believe.
Yeah, it was about that.
Yeah. And our first caution didn't come out until lap 40. I know myself, I had about 2 gallons left in the tank, which would have been good for another dozen laps, maybe. And I know when we get down to the finish, Brett Black, who was running, I thought he was running second or third, coming around on the white flag, ended up 4th because he was out of gas there. The same goes for Joseph Cervone, who I think he was also running up about 5th, and with 1 to go, he also ran out of gas coming out of 4.
Yeah, I don't know where Joseph was running, but he ran out of gas, and I went down there and I gave him a push to the line. I didn't know that was a rule, but just trying to help him out.
Ralph,
Yeah.
we're taking you to jail.
Yeah,
At least I'm not meeting you there.
Ouch.
And we'll leave the details of that off this broadcast. That something that's been going on in my life the last few days. No, I was not actually in jail. No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I was just talking about post-race altercations.
Sure you are.
But yeah, with Brett and Cervone, they must have tried to stretch it on fuel, because I even topped it off at the end by putting just about, I think it was a little more than a gallon in on that last pit stop, so they definitely wanted to chance it seemed like.
I definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And certainly here, every pound you can save is definitely an advantage. It's just at what point is that going to become a disadvantage at the end?
I think, though, especially with stock cars, especially with what Sean was pointing out tonight, and apparently paid off for him, was that with the stock car, you kind of want to keep the balance the same as it would be at full fuel, because I find that's when they handle the best. And unless your car's extremely loose or whatever, the less fuel you have in it, it'll make it tighter. So that's definitely the way we went, and paid off.
For sure it did. 1-2 for y'all.
Yep, that's 2 for 2.
I wouldn't mind that.
How does it feel being second again, Husby?
Well, like I said, if I didn't have issues with my pedals, I think I could have had a shot at taking the win, but it was really nice to see Sean win anyways. He's been having a rough go of it the last couple of seasons, and it's nice to see him get back into victory lane again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
One of the good guys.
It seems like the one thing that can just revitalize a sim racer's racing career seems to be if you can just get that one win at the right moment. I know it worked for me back, I believe season 2 for CORT. I think it worked for Mr. Damboys at the end of last season, and I think it's going to work for Sean Sadler here.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It really, he's been having a lot of trouble as of late, and he's been very, very frustrated with it too. So it's always a good thing to see somebody who's been struggling and who has been very public with his frustration, come out on top, and finally break that barrier and win a race. And maybe this will propel him into more success. I know when I finally pulled into victory lane here in CORT officially, it definitely helped me a lot. I got the confidence back in my driving, and it helped me win more races and 2 championships in a row. So I definitely hope that this puts Sean in the right track, because he's a great guy, and he definitely deserves the success.
Definitely. All right, moving on to the points now. It's 2 races now, so we actually do have a good points instead of just having, the finishing order from the first race. Cody McCorkle's leading the points right now. He's sitting on 45. He's 8 in front of Brent Sweet. Keep in mind that not everyone who's running in the series is actually going to be running for points. Sean Sadler is 3rd. He's sitting 10 back. Brian Sullivan's 4th, 12 back. David Damboy's 5th, 13 back. This is where it gets tight. More on Dave later. I myself am sitting 6th, 14 back, tied with Joseph Cervone, 7th. Robert Hill is 8th, sitting 15 back. Then you jump back 25 points back to Chris Sweat, and Julian Medora 26 back. Boys, how's this looking for the rest of the season, the final 3 races?
I think it's going to be a good battle to the as right now, it's looking pretty tough to beat Cody McCorkle. He seems to be pretty consistent. Plus, that one win is really helpful for him. Sean could have the momentum going into next race. Hopefully, it carries on for him. Brent's been consistent. And then from there, it's just everyone's been all over the board. It's going to be a fun 3 races.
I just wanted to say that Brent Sweet's actually a pretty big surprise because he hasn't actually been racing iRacing for too long, so it's pretty nice to see that he's having some pretty early success so far. And I think it's going to be pretty tight going the rest of the season because there is a double points race coming up as well.
It should be a lot of fun to see what the points do. Next week's race at Atlanta is going to bring the drivers a new challenge. 3 different racetracks for the first 3 events. We saw Cody win the big 2-miler Auto Club. Sean was able to take the short track at Iowa, and now we're kind of in between. It's an intermediate cookie cutter track that's not as big as Auto Club, but it's definitely a huge game changer from this past week at Iowa. So it'll be very interesting to see who can keep the momentum up from prior success and who can maybe break out, have a great race, and maybe stick their nose into the championship fight. It's kind of weird to say after 2 races. You really got to see where you're sitting at in the points because it's a mini series. You only got 5 weeks, so you really, if you have one bad race, it could cost you your shot at a championship. So you need to be very, very successful throughout this entire 5-week season, and with the different variety in tracks, it definitely makes it interesting and really puts you to the test at every discipline.
Definitely. Speaking of next week at Atlanta, 1.5 mile track, modeled out like Charlotte, but it's not smooth like Charlotte or Texas. It's very bumpy, very abrasive. Do we think that's going to mess with the race next week, or how that might play into the race next week?
Personally, I feel like it's really going to be all about how the setup drives for everybody. Everybody has their own driving style and all that, but everybody's going to have the same thing underneath their car, underneath the hood. If the setup runs through the bumps good, then we're going to see a great race. If not, then we're probably going to see a lot of wrecks, and these guys struggle. I've competed in that car at Atlanta in the official series on iRacing. I had a lot of fun with it. It was an absolute blast, and the handling was there. It was actually a very well handled car. The bumps didn't really upset the car a lot. However, that was quite some time ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago it was, but it was quite a while ago. So a lot of things have changed since then with the iRacing service, the way the cars drive, the tires, and all that fun stuff. So it should be a lot of fun to see what happens. I'm hoping it's a good race for everybody. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun with that car track combination in the past, and I know that it's definitely possible to have a fantastic race.
Yeah, absolutely. I've personally never run here before, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm looking at a couple pictures of the track, and it looks like it has some really nice banking, which could make some good side-by-side racing, and I think it's going to be fun.
Definitely.
I think, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, certainly. Go ahead.
Alright, I was just going to say that Atlanta, a lot like California, has a lot of multi-groove racing, so I think we can expect a lot of that next week, and Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to getting out there and having a good race.
Definitely, and not necessarily having run this car here in the past, but running other cars on the iRacing service. I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a race like at California, just because you're so on the throttle so much, you're almost flat out the entire way around in a car that doesn't quite have the horsepower of the Cup car. Well, I should say earlier in the run, you're basically flat out. Once the tires start to wear, you definitely slow down. I'd have to say this is one of the tracks where you slow down the most. Maybe not quite as much as, say, a Rockingham or Darlington, but probably a good close third. Mike Husby, everybody. Alright, well, this concludes our Iowa review, our Atlanta preview. Stick around a little bit. We've still got our interview with Joseph, we've still got some news, and we've still got a very heated debate between Mike Husby and Robert Hill on single file versus double file restarts in CORT. So, join us back after the break.
Set yourself free. Free Radio, today's best music mix.
Alright, welcome back everybody, back to CORTnation 91.3. We got Kyle Young on tonight, myself, Robert Hill Jr., and Mike Husby. Let's just go over a few quick news and notes for CORT, what's going on right now. Big news, we're still in the off season.
Are we? Man, that's surprising. I thought we were in the middle of the season.
My off season is a permanent off season. Insert teardrop here.
That's earth-shattering news right there.
Well, I feel for you, bud. I feel for you, seriously. Bad news. Bad news. So, earlier on we talked about David Damboy's being where he is in points and such. News handed down today from top brass at CORT. CORT driver David Damboy's has been suspended for 21 days from competition due to rules 1.3, 1.4, respect others, wrecking. This will impact the CORT V8 All-Stars race, the CORT 2.4 at Daytona, and the next few Winter Series races, along with preseason testing. Guys?
It's tough to say. It's tough to really comment on. I think Dave just wasn't thinking at the time of his incident tonight, and it's unfortunate. It's a pretty harsh penalty. It was handed down, but I guess the administration felt that it was a very serious incident, and they dealt with it accordingly.
Of all the people to be put in this situation, I would have never thought that Dave would be to be the one. I will be 100% honest and admit that I have been on that side of the fence before with some heated rivalries with a few other drivers in my CORT career. And Dave has always stressed how he wants his races to go and how the proper way to settle arguments and conflicts between drivers to happen. But the heat of the moment gets to everybody, gets to the best of us. And tonight this past week it happened with Dave. It's definitely a surprise. I'm very shocked at the severity of the penalty, but then again, I'm not. I'm not surprised that there's a penalty. I'm a little surprised it's as long as it is. I mean, for the series, for the league owner, the guy who enforces all the rules, I could see maybe a harsher penalty than other drivers, but a penalty this severe is pretty insane, and it really takes a toll on some key events here. You got the CORT V8 All Stars race coming up a week from Monday. I believe the 2.4 is the final Monday after that. Some big special event races where now Dave is going to have to sit behind the admin table instead of getting his hand behind the wheel.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but obviously when it comes to situations like that, us as an admin team and Dave himself knows that definitely something has to be done about it, because it's been done in the past with other situations between other drivers. So it's unfortunate, and it sucks for Dave and for the whole league as a whole, but it's something that just had to be done, unfortunately.
I'm actually going to go off the cuff here a little bit. I honestly don't agree with this decision. I'm sorry. For those who may not be aware, I was involved in the incident in question. I won't go into details on it. I don't know. I think if there's an incident with two people, first thing that should happen is those two people talk and just try and clear the air, take care of it. And I don't think 21 days penalty with nothing like that having happened. I just don't agree with it. I'm sorry. And I mean, I respect Dave. He runs this place. I love this place. I can't agree with this. I'm sorry.
I can't say that I disagree fully. Like I said, you would kind of expect maybe a harsher penalty from to happen towards an administrator or a series director, seeing that they are, they have a little bit of power. They're supposed to be the ones keeping sanity and running the league. But you make a really, really good point. There was no warnings or repercussions as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge. This is the first time Dave has ever acted out in a situation like this in his CORT career. I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct with that. So to see a 3-week penalty for a first-time offender is very shocking. But and it's like what Husby said too. You guys gotta do what you gotta do. It can't go unpunished necessarily. But I think you make a good point, Will. I think it is definitely a very harsh penalty for a first-time offender. And it's just very, very surprising to me to see how severe it is.
Definitely. And okay, stepping away from that, because we really don't need to talk too long about that. Christopher Racing, they have unveiled Brett Black Racing. I'm sorry, unveiled Brett Black's paint schemes for next year, and I can't lie, I think they're hot.
Well, not too bad. There's some things I like what he's done with it, and I even suggested that with the white discount tire car that he could possibly even do a reverse scheme with black as well. So it definitely does look like a couple of nice cars, though.
I really like it. I like the discount tire car. It's a really nice looking car. I don't know about the GoDaddy sponsorship for Brett Black. He definitely does not race like Danica. So I really think maybe he should think of a different sponsor. But discount tire is definitely a good look for Brett Black.
Well, hey now. GoDaddy isn't always associated with drivers who don't particularly get very many victories. I mean, James Hinchcliffe drove the GoDaddy car. Mark Martin drove the GoDaddy car.
James Hinchcliffe got, 3-4 wins this year? Last year, so really, can't really put him in that category.
Yeah, it's IndyCar. It's not like they're running 36 races. 4 out of 17. I'd take that. It's more than I think I have.
No matter what we decide to agree on in this debate, I think we should definitely state that Brett Black is a way better driver than Danica Patrick.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Danica will never be a champion in any series, not even the Court Cup series.
Dude,
Sorry,
she couldn't
Danica,
even
you're
win
good
a
looking,
rookie
but no.
street stock championship. What are you talking about?
She couldn't even beat me, and everybody beats me.
This is just my opinion and mine alone, but I'm really finally starting to believe that she's a lot like a lot of the Toronto sports teams, and no offense to the Toronto sports teams, but
All hype.
No
game.
where you constantly believe that, they're gonna eventually break out and have a good year and so on, and that just never happens. So I think that's honestly the way I look at Danica Patrick now.
Yes.
Definitely. Alright, I hate to cut off this. We're kind of getting low on time. And we have one more thing that we want to take care of tonight. Green, White, Checkered is our first non-necessarily court-related segment. So we're going to have Husby versus Hill. Single file versus double file restarts. I'll start the clock. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's get it on.
Husby, you can start. Your points aren't going to be as good, so go ahead.
Oh, we haven't even rung the bell yet, and we're already getting the smackdown.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Really? You're going to make me break out the gun noises again?
Hell yeah.
Alright, boys. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Got 2 minutes.
Alright, so just really quickly, just a really short little bit. There has been talk about possibly changing the truck series from double file to single file restarts, and there's a lot of controversy between a lot of different people that suggest that maybe single file is better than double file. So that's basically what we're talking about in this debate. So, in my opinion, I really do like double file restarts. There's a lot of issues I find with single file restarts, especially with guys that are trying to avoid wrecks or stack ups on restarts where they have to dodge to the left to avoid it and then end up getting black flagged for it, for example. And as an admin, that's a really hard thing to have to police, because if you end up having to clear somebody's black flag, actually multiple people's black flags while you're racing, it's a really hard, pain in the butt thing to do. So,
Husby,
yeah.
I hate to cut you off. 1 minute. Robert, your turn.
Alright, so I'm, it's not a very good debate since I'm actually on the same side as Husby here. For us guys that usually run at the back, single file would put us nearly a quarter of a lap down, right on green, on these small tracks that we run. So double file really would get us closer to the front, make the racing better, and maybe avoid these big wrecks on the start, which I seem to cause quite a few of them. I think double file is the way to go here.
Husby, anything else?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Sorry, fuck. I just
12 seconds.
pause.
It's more entertaining.
Single file was cool back in the day, but now that we have the ability to do double file, I think that's the best way to go for great racing.
Husby, I'm riveted. Okay, well that was I tell you what, guys, we need to get more angry here, because this has got to be the most polite radio show.
Yeah, Husby, you little bitch.
Yo.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Talk to me when you've won a race.
Good lord, why are you making me break out the fucking sensors?
Well, Husby, I know you're upset here, but I know racing's all you got because you got nothing else in your life. Not my words, words of another driver.
Okay.
No.
Okay, maybe we're getting too
Didn't
pissed off now.
Didn't need to get all personal here.
I think we're getting a little too pissed off now. I'm gonna have to go to the cutting room floor here.
Go make some pizzas and shut up.
Whoa. Who told you to say that?
Boys, let's keep it a little civil. Okay, well, so that concludes the news. That concludes Green, White, Checkered. After this, we're going to have a short commercial break, And then we're going to have our interview for Joseph Cervone. This was conducted after our last episode was aired. It's taken in the Topper's Pizza in Newmarket, Ontario, I believe. Yeah, I'm not very good at transitions, so come back for that.
Set yourself free. Free Radio, today's best music mix.
Hello everybody, welcome back to CORTnation 91.3. Tonight we have Joseph Cervone and Mike Husby. Robert Hill, you want to take over though first?
We'd like to now send it to our field reporter, Mike Husby, who is on location at Topper's Pizza in Newmarket, Ontario, with Joseph Cervone. Husby?
I know this is a long way to come out here, Joseph, but welcome to Topper's Pizza, and how's it going tonight?
Topper's Pizza actually is pretty good. You know, we always make fun of you about it, but I gotta say, it's not bad.
Thanks, I made the pizza myself. So, what do you think?
What do I think about what? The pizza, it's pretty good. I just said that.
Yeah, we don't have stuffed crust, but I know it's no Pizza Hut, but it is pretty good.
Pizza Hut? More like Pizza Butt.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, so, let's see. Let's start off with the CORT V8 Supercar Series. How's everything going there?
The CORT racing team is doing pretty good so far this season. You know, we got a couple of podiums, and Julian and I are picking up right where we left off, basically from last season. Being pretty competitive, week in and week out. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that we started doing it.
Yeah, who was the first one to come up with the idea to do it? Was that Julian, or did you have anything to do with it?
Well, I wanted to run the V8s for a while, but I just never could really get it going by myself, and I heard Julian talking about how he maybe wanted to run it, and I jumped on that opportunity to say, yeah, I'll run it with you, Julian, and then it was Julian and I for a while, and then Dave joined in, and it's great to have the three of us running, consistently every week, and then every once in a while we'll get other people racing. Like we had Will racing with us at Summit Point, and Christian last week or at Road America. Tyler Tucker raced a couple races last season with us too at I think it was Phillip Island. But it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'd say kind of Julian and I think both kind of equally run it, the thing.
Yeah, true. So, do you think it's really helping get the CORT name out there?
Actually, I don't know if it's anything to do with the V8s, but at Road America after the Friday night race, there was a driver in the Friday night race at Road America that actually said to Dave in the server that he wanted to run at CORT for a really long time, but he just doesn't have the free time. And Dave and I, we were really shocked that he actually said that. And at first we thought he was just kind of BSing because it says CORT all over the cars, but then he said, I really wanted to run the Summer Late Model Series, and that was way before we started doing the V8s.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising.
Yeah, for sure. But it's cool though. But anyway.
So I guess that kind of helped lead into the V8 race that's going to be happening at COTA as well.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting race because I think it's going to be on the longer side of V8 races. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be longer than anything that we're running in the official series, and we definitely aren't going to Circuit of the Americas, so that's going to be basically brand new for us.
What do you think of the layout of the West course for the V8 cars?
The West Circuit is not bad. The Grand Prix circuit, the full config of COTA would be definitely a really long track for the V8s though. But surprisingly, the V8s, we did do a little bit of testing there, and surprisingly, the V8s are actually pretty fun to drive around through the S's, and but they're definitely a handful through that quad apex part where the amphitheater is. That's a tricky set of corners in the V8. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, moving on. You did have a pretty solid season in the Trading Paint series. What do you think about your season? Last season.
Last season was definitely was a challenging season for me because I really had high expectations going in, and personally, I don't think I met my expectations for myself. So, it was a little disappointing. I really thought that I was going to be able to win at least one of those things last season, and I came pretty close once or twice, I believe. But just really, other than that, I just couldn't close the deal. I had a lot of good runs, and I think I ended up tied with Steven Taylor for 5th. So that's one of my better seasons. So you gotta be happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like at places like Phoenix, Pocono, even Auto Club, and New Hampshire, you showed a lot of promise for possibly winning a race eventually, though.
Yeah, Phoenix was fun. I'm really not sure how I ended up in that position, but the next thing I knew was the final restart, and there I was in I can't remember if I was first or second on that final restart, but yeah, and Hess was solid all night there. And then New Hampshire, I led a lot of laps there too. And just at the end, I totally lost the handle on that thing. The handling just completely went away, and I just couldn't hold on. At first it looked like I was gonna maybe be able to hold Hess off for the win, and then I just couldn't. And I was trying to hold on to 3rd, and I just couldn't hold on to that either. The thing just turned evil at the end of that one. But I think those were definitely my 2 best chances. Just so next season we'll have to hope for a little more.
Yeah, leading into that, actually, what are your plans for next season?
We got Shell on board again for both series, so it's really nice to have them back. It's not like some familiarity at least. And I'm really happy to see more road courses on the Trading Paint schedule because I definitely enjoy the road courses a lot, and I think those are some of my better chances. The Trading Paint series schedule actually I think is one of the best schedules we've had in a while, and I'm really excited for it. I'm not 100% sure what the Cup schedule looks like exactly right at this moment, but I'm sure that's not a bad schedule either.
Now, are you planning on running full-time in Cup as well?
Yeah, it should be full-time again. I think last season was the first time where I only missed one race. So that was kind of exciting. And I can't, Cup was disappointing for me last season too because I really thought I was going to be better than that, but just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys that had some issues last season for sure.
Yeah, it was an interesting season last season with Julian started off with winning at Daytona, right? And then all of a sudden he had a lot of trouble, and Brett had some troubles, and even though he came out to be victorious in them, but he definitely wasn't a walk in the park.
Also, we found out last week actually that you're going to be driving for Jim Gutta Sports Motorsports in the Truck Series next season.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I'm definitely not going to be running. Probably not going to be running full time in the trucks, but definitely looking forward to. As always, I like the road courses, so Canadian Tire Motorsports Park is circled on my schedule, and I think I saw Watkins Glen for the second tour, so I'm really excited for that one too. That's my home track as well, so that's definitely circled. And then the truck schedule actually looks good. We're going to, if I remember correctly, Dover's on the schedule, so that should be really interesting. And I forget, there was another track on the schedule that's a really interesting track, but it's escaping me right now.
Yeah, we're going to throw it back to the studio to see if anybody else has any questions for you. So let's start with Robert Hill.
Yeah, Joseph, how do you think the V8 cars are going to help you when CORT goes to road courses? I know it's a totally different car, the Cup car, the truck, Indy car, but do you think that'll help you at all?
I think definitely the learning the V8 is definitely helped already a lot on the ovals even, but I think it's gonna be a lot more applicable in the Cup car and in the truck when we go to those road courses that are on the schedule. Because I like to say that the V8 is kind of like driving a Cup car, sort of. I think the V8 is definitely a beast, and the thing is, it's big. It's a big, heavy car like the Cup car is, and even though the power is not the same, it's got significantly less power than the Cup car, but it still kind of exhibits a lot of the same behavior. You get a lot of wheel spin off the corners if you're not careful, and the thing doesn't like to stop. So it definitely is going to be a big help, I think. And like I said, it surprisingly was helpful on the ovals. You learn to definitely be ginger on the throttle at some of those tracks where you need it.
Thanks for that. Will, do you have any questions?
What are you most looking forward to in Season 6, Joseph?
I think most looking forward to in Season 6, I gotta say, probably the road courses on the Training Paint Series and the Indy 500. 500K is always a crown jewel for me. But we're going back to Long Beach, and I think Watkins Glen's back on the schedule. So, I'm really excited for that.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and Joseph, you gotta try these cheese sticks, man. They're fucking good. Oh, excuse me. They're extremely good. But anyways, thank you for your time, and hope you have a good 2015 season.
All right, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Joseph Cervone, everybody. Alright, everybody, welcome back. I just punched my shifter. Alright, everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed everything we had to give you tonight. If you've got any comments, any concerns, any advice or anything you want to see on the show, just to let one of us know. Our Twitters are going to be in the description. You can also send one to the CORTnation Twitter. You can also just comment or just message us. We're pretty easy people to get to, for the most part. We're not easy people, but we're easy to get to. I don't know about Kyle.
Or Husby.
Noted.
Damn. Shots fired.
Bang, bang, bang.
But, yeah, I'm not really, I don't know. Yeah.
Alright. Any last comments from y'all? I mean, I don't mean to be a time Nazi, I guess, but we are kind of short on time. So anything else from any of y'all?
Yeah. I'd like to congratulate Sean Sadler on his victory. Hopefully it continues this season for him. I'm excited to have him as a teammate, and I'm excited for next week's show. Should be a good one.
Oh, definitely. Atlanta should bring plenty of action. Actually, we're also going to have the V8 All-Stars race to cover next week, come to think of it. So 2 races in a week for us to cover. So yeah, definitely, everyone stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to both the V8 All-Star race and next week at Atlanta, and hopefully by then I'll have a new wheel, and maybe then I'll not have to worry about my brake dragging. So definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, that's all I get.
Yeah, Husby, if this dragging brake pedal ruins our V8 All Stars race, I'm not gonna be a happy teammate.
Yeah, nor am I.
That's been Will Roberts, Robert Hill, Mike Husby, special guest Kyle Young, special interviewee Joseph Cervone, even though he's not actually in studio right now. This has been CORTnation 91.3. As Husby's learned the last few weeks in the Winter Series, let the rough side drag. See y'all next week.